Hello and welcome to Grognard Solo Gaming. I am the Grognard and today we are continuing with Defenders of Calamon, the For Against Darkness campaign. And the party has just made camp close to the village of Psamtik, to where they are escorting the villagers that they saved from the lair of the mad scientist Safar Frerick. And as usual, to begin with, I am going to share a few things that I rolled up for the characters from the roll and play books. And this time it is a distinguishing feature and a trinket of sorts. And this is probably the last time that I add to the characters from the roll and play books. Beginning with Darren. Darren has the words "Fortune favors the bold" tattooed on his right arm. Darren also carries his grandfather's charred and ripped journal. A row of tiny symbols are inked on each of Morrigan's fingers. Morrigan carries a small golden hourglass. Around each of Freya's brown irises is a ring of golden yellow. Freya carries a flamingo feather writing quill. Magnus has high, sharp cheeks and thick arched eyebrows. Magnus also carries an unsolvable puzzle cube. Alright, so in order to make camp according to the rules in the Fantasy Solo Roleplaying Framework, I am going to make an appropriate survival or bushcraft or nature skill check, and none of these really exist in For Against Darkness, and so I think in the current party only Darren has the skills necessary to try this role, and I think also that because he is a warrior, he needs to roll a 5 or a 6. I feel like an elf or a wood elf or a scout would be either have a lower difficulty or get to add their level to the roll probably. But rolling for Darren to make the camp or find a good place to make the camp. That did not succeed, unfortunately, so that means, well, the party is basically on the road still, but nighttime feels like it would be a little more dangerous. So let's say there is an encounter during the night on a roll of 1 or 2. There is no encounter during the night. So that means that the next day the party and the 8 villagers, they reach Psamtik, and there is much rejoicing and celebration as the kidnapped villagers are reunited with their families. And in the evening there is a big celebration that the party gets to be part of. And also probably Darren talks to the mayor of the village about their level of security and how the goblins could kidnap these 8 people. Probably they should think about building a palisade or something around their village so this doesn't happen again. Then the question is if there is a trainer in this village. The people who have not leveled up yet are Darren and Magnus. I would say it's highly unlikely that there is a magic trainer, and it's quite unlikely that there is a warrior trainer. So I am going to say that Darren would have to roll a 6 and Magnus would have to roll a 6 followed by a 5 or a 6. Let's see. Well, no, that was very clearly that there is no trainer of any kind in this small village of Psamtik. But at least the party gets to rest and recover, and I am going to say that after the celebration in Psamtik, every character is back to full life and all spells have been restored as well. So then the question is, where does the party want to go next? In order to get their 80 gold from Captain Corey, they would have to go back to Kelemon. However, I am wondering, maybe there is a quest here in Psamtik. I find it quite likely that there would be some kind of a quest. So let's see. If I roll 3 or higher, then the mayor of the village has a quest. Indeed, the mayor has a quest for the party, so let's find something in the framework. All right, so rolling on the D66 quest table, what does the mayor of Psamtik want the party to do? He wants them to 55. All right, so this was pretty interesting. This one is called the Mad Alchemist, and for obvious reasons I'm going to change it to the Mad Scientist. And it reads, a mad scientist is conducting dangerous experiments in his hidden laboratory. Put an end to his madness before it's too late. So this would then clearly be a quest to go back and kill Safar Freric. And the reason being that when the mayor finds out that it was indeed this mad scientist that was behind the kidnappings, he wants this person killed. And, well, I don't think the party has any problems going back and killing Safar Freric if that is indeed the quest that the mayor wants to send them on. However, as a player, I am not super keen on playing the same exact dungeon again. So I'm going to say that the party is going to accept the quest and they're going to travel back to the dungeon. But when they get there, they're going to find that Safar Freric has moved his, lair. And then they are going to have to search for him. So then the quest is going to have to start with them trying to locate Safar Freric again. So what the party is going to do next is that they are going to travel back to Safar's lair. And at the start of their adventuring day, they have 8 action tokens. And they need to travel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It takes them 6 action tokens to enter the dungeon. So that means I need to make 6 rolls for potential random encounters. So let's see how that goes. All right, it's daytime and they are following the road. So that means that they have an encounter on a roll of 1. Let's see. No encounter. No encounter. No encounter. Number 4, no encounter. Number 5, there is an encounter in the 5th rectangle. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on the bridge, and this is going to count as a grassland encounter. So let's see, D66, 46. A powerful storm rolls in, forcing the parties to seek shelter or risk being struck by lightning. Well, then they are clearly gonna hide under the bridge. And let's see, is there anything interesting under the bridge? I'm gonna say it is not very likely. So if I roll a 6, then there is something interesting under the bridge. There is something interesting under the bridge. So I'm just gonna, because these encounter tables aren't just sort of combat encounters, I'm going to roll one more time on this table and see if it makes sense that the thing I roll could be located under the bridge. And 56. No. A pack of territorial lions challenges the party for control of the grasslands. Well, no. Lions do not, in fact, hide under bridges, so I am just going to skip that one. And I am going to say instead that the storm forces the party to make camp, and they lose their remaining action tokens for the day. And let's see if Darren can build a functioning camp under the bridge. He cannot at all. So they are on the road, but it's night time, so that means on a 1 or a 2 there is an encounter during the night. There is still no encounter during the night, even though Darren is terrible at building camps. The next day, the storm has moved on, and the party just needs to move 1 rectangle to the north, and then they are back at Safar Freric's lair. But getting there, they realize that he has moved on, and I'm actually not gonna sort of make a thing out of that dungeon at this point, so I'm not gonna roll for wandering monsters or anything like that. The party simply realize that Safar has taken his things and he has moved on. Well, now I don't have an elf, and I don't have a wood elf, and I don't have a scout. I only have Darren, who apparently is not very good at wilderness things, but I am still gonna let him make a roll to see if he's able to track some kind of footprints leaving the lair, because if Safar has moved his entire laboratory and maybe even his library, if it wasn't done by some kind of magical means, then probably someone has walked back and forth quite a few times here. So, but I'm still gonna say that he has to roll a 6. No. Well, and in fact, I'm going to say that it is very likely that Safar moved his things by some kind of magical means, so I am going to say that 3 or higher, that was how it was done. No, actually it was not. So then the party can see tracks. They can see that some kind of humanoids have moved in and out, back and forth in this area, but because they don't have the sufficient wilderness skills, they are unable to tell where they went, probably because of the storm and the heavy rain washing away the footprints. That sounds like it would make sense. All right, but then let's say it took them 1 action token to move to the lair, and I'm going to be generous and say they only took 1 to find out that Safar had moved on. So that means they have 6 more for this day. And I have expanded the area a little bit with Pocketlands cards that make sense. I did not draw randomly this time. I wanted the roads to make sense. And this made it so that Kelamon isn't placed exactly where it used to be placed. But, well, this is how it is from now on anyway. Right, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, they are just 1 rectangle short of reaching their destination, but they are gonna have to camp close to Kelamon when the sun sets. All right, so poor Darren is gonna have to do his best with the camp. Let's see. Oh, he has learned a thing or 2. With the exploding die, he even reached a 10. So finally he makes a good camp, and that means the party does not need to roll for a random encounter for this night. And then the next day they enter Calamon. And in Calamon, they are going to visit Captain Corey, who is going to congratulate them, but he is also a little bit worried about this Safar Freric having moved his base of operations. So he says that, well, this is most excellent work by you this year, and I'm going to send out our best scouts to look for Safar Freric, and then when we have something, we have some news of his whereabouts, I will contact you for sure. Many thanks. Here you have your 80 gold pieces. You have really deserved them. Thank you. And the party thanks Captain Corey, and they stash their gold. And then Magnus and Darren are going to go find trainers, because with the house rules they can pay 100 gold each to level up to level 2. But then in order to reach level 3, then each character needs to have at least 1 XP, and then they can add paying 100 gold to a trainer in order to reach level 3. So the rest of the party are gonna go stay at the inn, the Lycanthrope's Bite, while Magnus and Darren train in order to improve their skills. And then I am actually going to look through and see if they want to do some shopping, actually. But I am going to edit that part out, and then I am simply going to tell you what they bought. Okay, so since previously the party actually had 4 bandages and 2 lanterns, so they have 1 bandage each, and then both Morrigan and Magnus carry a lantern each, though they're only using 1 at a time. And the reason that I got 2 was that I somehow seemed to remember that maybe you can lose your lantern somehow, somewhere. I'm not sure. I might be misremembering that part, but that's why the party has 2 lanterns anyway. So this time they bought heavy armors for Darren and Freya, and they sold their light armors. Then they bought a bow for Darren and 3 slings, 1 for each of the other members of the party. And finally they bought 1 more potion of healing, and this one is going to go to Morrigan, who is number 2 in the marching order. So Darren has 1 healing of potion and Morrigan has the other. And since Darren and Magnus both went to their respective trainers, and that cost them 100 gold each, when all this has been said and done, the party has 31 pieces of gold left. When they are done with their training and shopping, the party is going to go on their next quest. And during the first session, when they were looking for quests, they found out that there was a haunted mansion somewhere nearby. And let's look at who had that quest, actually. The Haunted Mansion. Local legend speaks of a haunted mansion on the outskirts of town. All right, so they don't have to leave Calamon. Investigate the source of the hauntings and put the spirits to rest. Contact the Adventurers Guild. Right. So they are going to go to the Adventurers Guild, and then actually we can see if they have an encounter in town. And I'm going to say that, well, actually, I think it says I think it's on a 1 and a 2, maybe? Yes, on a 1 or a 2, there is an encounter in town. There is no encounter in town, and I generally just roll 1 per day for encounters in town. So the party is going to reach the Adventurers Guild, and they are going to look for someone wearing the guild crest. And they are going to find a broad-shouldered man with black hair and a big bushy black beard, and he is dressed like a warrior with a big sword on his back and heavy armor. And Darren is going to talk to this man. Hello, excuse me, we're here about the quest in the Haunted Mansion. We need to talk to someone about the reward. Oh, well, yes, the Haunted Mansion, yes. Well, you can talk to me. My name is Lockwood. And, yes, let's see. The Haunted Mansion, you say, yes. Well, you need to go there and you need to find out what's going on. According to the rumors, there are undead in that place, but I am not certain. So, go and find out what is going on, and if there are monsters or bandits or anything of that kind, then slay them. And we will pay you 100 gold, plus 1 gold for every evil thing that you slay. That is the deal. Take it or leave it. Well, that actually sounds quite good for us, so we are going to take you up on that offer. And we're going to be back when we are done dealing with this Haunted Mansion. Thank you very much, Lockwood. Thank you, and be safe. Yes, and you cannot miss it. It's on the eastern outskirts of Kellamon, and everyone avoids it like the plague. Yes, of course. Thank you. Right, and with that, the party is going to travel east through Kellamon, and they are going to reach the mansion. And now I have decided that this mansion is going to use an adventure deck called Manic Mansions that I am going to put on the screen now. And I do think this is going to have to be where I end this session, and then we're going to get started on the Manic Mansions next time. So I thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.